Hello and welcome to Blue Marble Photography. My name is Mark Wade. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt for like 4 or 5 videos. I do that. I make 4 or 5 videos because my time, I'm retired, but my time is still very much restricted. I'm kind of remodeling our house. It's a lot of work, and we live on a half acre, and I take care of it with my wife. And that's a lot of work as well. We have gardens and trees and all kinds of things that need attention all the time. What are we going to talk about? Well, in the last video, we talked about long exposures. We talked about multiple exposures. We talked about thinking about what that means about color, about what you can do, how the world becomes this wet canvas. And you can smear things around to do whatever you want it to do. And hopefully figure out how to make it look good. So I want to talk about something else that I learned while on my photographic journey. And that is how to use the sun to your benefit. And it's just for one type of basic photograph. And essentially, it has to do with being, say, around after the sun goes down, right? So you have very limited time on what you can do. Now, if you live like where I live, where there's always a hill over there, like in San Diego, there are hills and mountains all over the place. Not really tall mountains, but there are hills and things. And so the sun might go down behind that hill long before it goes down below the horizon beyond. So there will be sunlight there for some time. So that's really a good place to practice this. Now, if you live somewhere where everything's flat, I don't know how that might work. Or if if you're shooting this on the ocean, your time will be limited because the light's only there for a short amount of time. But it's still there. So I want us to think about this. And these are not going to be long exposures per se, unless you want to throw one in there, right? So you're in multiple exposure mode, and you're going to stack these photographs together. They're all going to come out blended evenly. You're not going to blow anything out. So let's say you're looking off into the distance, and there's a hill, right? There's this hill, right? Or big mountains or whatever, and the sun goes down behind it. And now you've got light coming up from behind that mountainside. And I will go out tonight and or one other night before this thing is posted and try and show you what I mean. Now, for me, I use a zoom lens. So I have different perspectives, right? I did a video about perspectives and why that's so important, because changing your perspective is very important with this type of photograph. So I'll go as wide as I can. So when the sun goes down behind the mountains, and you have this nice source of light coming up behind the mountains, now's your time. And there are several other things you can do, and we'll talk about that as well, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you the resultant photograph from that. And this all has to do with understanding light values. You want stronger light, maybe light that isn't quite as strong, and then you want maybe some really strong light, and we'll talk about that. So as you're looking at this mountain side, right? And there's light coming up from behind it. One of the first things I'll go as wide as my lens will go. So say if I'm using a 70 to 200, I'll go 70. And I'll get that little mountain range, and you've got this light coming up from behind it, right? Very cool, right? Well then, and then it's kind of like about the mountain range top is about in the middle of the frame, or close to it. And so there's lots of dark below. I am, okay, go, if you don't understand exposure, you need to go to the beginning. but I set my exposure for the light, and I'm going to lose the details in the mountain, and I don't care. Why should I care? I don't want detail. Okay, that's okay. It's okay not to want detail. Nobody's telling me how to make my photograph. Nobody should tell you how to make a photograph. So I'm gonna get kind of more of a silhouette of that mountain. But think about this. You have a strong light coming out from back of there. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to find a very good strong source of light and part of that mountain range, and I'm going to zoom in. Okay. Now you have that first mountain range right here, right? Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to put the top of it closer to the top of the frame, and it may just be like something like this. Okay? But what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Think about it. You're going to have light at the very top. You're going to have this mountain range here. You're going to have that light coming from the first photograph right in the middle of that part that you're crushing, right, of the second shot. And then you're going to have light crushed down here. Okay, now you've got all of these things stacked. You make that frame. There you go. Now you've got light shining. It isn't truly shining, but it looks like it's shining on the mountaintop from below. Now you have two sources of light. You got to do that. You got to make the sun be in two places in your photograph. Woohoo! It's amazing. Cameras are cool, man, I'm telling you. But you have to understand exposure and light values. That was the first thing I did. Okay, figuring that out. And I started doing it. I started putting light sources in different places throughout this photograph, throughout my photographs. I'd stack 3 or 4 of them together, sometimes more. Cool. That's so cool to do that. You should try that. Now, wait a minute. Let's not forget that down in the last part of your frame, it's still dark. What does that mean? Well, that means you can add some light down there at the bottom, right? I want to add some light down here at the bottom. And I used to hang out at a lake and do this work. And when you're looking on the lake, that light value is so strong. You know it's going to overtake all that dark that's down there. So I would stack these photographs and then point it down at the lake. And if there was a little bird there, that was awesome, right? You get the silhouette. Does he need to be in detail? No. Who cares? Nobody cares about the detail. I don't care about the detail. Stop thinking about the detail. This is about light. It's about color. It's about emotion. It has nothing to do with details. Good for you if that's what you want to do. I do it sometimes, but sometimes I don't want that. And that's okay. If whatever you want to make, that's you. That's good. Do it. Do it. So what happens when you do that? Well, let me show you the resultant photograph. And I'll put a couple in there. And these are some of my favorite dreamscapes, even to this day, because it evokes an emotion of awe. You know the sun's gone down. It's kind of twilight and dreamy. And, you'll go, for me, I went through quite a few failures before I started nailing these kinds of things. And when I say nail, I may get one in that week. But I don't care that it took me a week to get that one. Why do I care? It has nothing to do with quantity. Are there enough photographs? Are there not enough photographs in the world today? We are inundated. We're flooded with the same old photographs over and over and over and over. Now, I'm not complaining, okay? And I'm not chastising anybody for the work that they do. A lot of times what we like is the fact that we like that person that's making the photograph. And they happen to be in a good, beautiful place. And it looks great. And we want to thank them for doing that because they take us to that place. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with me being in Iceland and taking pictures of the waterfall that, with all these moody whatever. Okay, that's great. Me and, it would be me and 2 million other visitors who are doing exactly the same thing that year. Okay? For me, it's just being where you are and understanding that the world is a wet palette waiting for you to make something. And if you come away with nothing, you tried. But if you come away with something awesome, good for you. So that is what that was my next step in all of this. Was my dreamscapes are to me my voice. And as difficult as they can be to make, I will always try to make them. I will. When it comes to having the moon, oh, I'm there. I'm going to try and put the moon in it somehow. If there's a bird flying around, I'm going to do that because that's just what I ended up doing. Who knows what you're going to do? So that's my encouragement to you for controlling the light and understanding in this sense that you can stack light in different parts of your photograph and make it look surreal. Thank you for listening. Good luck on your walk. Keep shooting, keep practicing, keep learning. See you later.